Hi, I'm Mipsy, and today I'll be narrating I Can't Be Alone Again. The role of Pink is played by Elfie, who can be found on Discord as Ellie Ferret, spelled Ellifferret, and on Archive of Our Own as Technically Elliot. The role of Randy Domega is voiced by Storm the Devil, who can be found under that name on Archive of Our Own and is at StormTheDevil1 with the numeral 1 in the place of the letter L on Twitter/X and TikTok. This story was written with my friends Moops, ChloeCat1, Infiniki, and @me_NoFaithLeft in a game of Frantic Fanfic. It's based upon The Beast You've Made Me by I_want_A_coffee, which is itself based upon the works of Toby Fox. Please do not train AI on our fics. Rating. This fic was originally rated mature, but has been sanitized for YouTube. I would give this version a rating of teen and up audiences. Archive warnings. No archive warnings apply. Category, male/male. Fandoms, Deltarune, video game. Undertale, video game. The Beast You Made Me. I_want_A_coffee. Relationships, Randy Domega/Pink Addison. Characters, Pink Addison, Randy Domega, Randy Fanchild. Additional tags, Alpha Randy Domega, Alternate Universe Medieval, Angst with a Happy Ending, Crackfic, Crack Taken Seriously, Human Monster War, Hurt/Comfort, inspired by The Beast You've Made Me. This tag has been omitted to comply with YouTube's policies. Embreak, Omegaverse, Pink Addison is a human, Pregnancy, Randy Domega is a monster, Spamton lives in the village, Undertale AU. Summary. Randy Domega has been called on an epic quest to save the world. How is his husband, the Omega Pink Addison, going to take this? Cover art description. Pink Addison is drawn looking helpless and adorable with big purple eyes. Beside him stands the Randy Domega with big blue cerulean orbs, wearing a pale green t-shirt that reads Randy on it. The couple looks like they were drawn in Microsoft Paint, but in a way that's meant to be funny. The artwork was drawn by our friend Nina and is used with permission. It's based upon the Hot Yaoi Base by K3010OS on DeviantArt. I can't be alone again. It wasn't fair. Why did Randy have to leave? Why now, when Pink was finally happy? He finally felt safe, content, loved. And now it was all being torn away from him. Pink clutched the recruitment letter tighter, tears making the letters bleed into one another, some words illegible. Not that it mattered. Randy had already read it, already knew that he had been summoned to join the ongoing quest against the night. If Pink had opened the letter first, he'd have thrown it into the fire, watched it burn until it was nothing more than ash in the wind. But Pink hadn't been there when his brother dropped off the mail. The one time he hadn't been there. And now this. He almost felt like laughing. It was like some unseen force wanted him to suffer. He stood on shaky legs, hand gripping his hair almost as if to keep him upright. Randy was still here. There was still time to stop him from marching off to a meaningless death. If he loved Pink, he'd listen. He'd hold Addison in his strong arms and reassure him that he'd never let go, that Pink was the only thing that mattered. Trembling, Pink lifted his knuckles to the door of Randy's small office, knocking just loud enough for the monster to hear. He heard a shuffle before the door cracked open, the handsome, blue-eyed beast frowning through the crack, looking anywhere but at his partner.
Randy, I need you to talk to me.
Pink begged, cheeks stained, eyes sunken.
You can't shut me out like this. Not now. Not when...
He couldn't finish his sentence. His throat tightened, another fit of sobs threatening to escape him. Randy opened the door another inch, hesitating as he reached for Pink, guilt tearing through his stance. He was hunched over, mouth in a tight frown, still avoiding Pink's gaze.
Pink, you must understand. I
have a duty to fulfill? Is that it?
Pink hissed, looking down. Randy scowled, but his face betrayed the guilt he felt. He reached for Pink and trailed a clawed hand down his arm.
It's true. You know it is. You know how important duty is. Duty to family, to my fellow monsters.
He raised a hand to Pink's face and cupped his cheek. Pink didn't raise his eyes to Randy's. He frowned at the floor and watched his vision blur as the tears came on. They fell in large, wet drops into Randy's fur, and Pink nestled his face into Randy's hand.
Randy, what if you don't?
He couldn't bring himself to say the words.
I'll come home, Pink. I will come home. To you.
Finally, Pink raised his eyes to look at his monster love.
You are my home, and I would never abandon you.
Randy spoke, barely above a whisper. Pink threw his arms around him and squeezed tight.
Maybe someone else could take your place.
He muttered, knowing full well that it wasn't so. Randy held him close, and they stayed like that, breathing into one another in the silence and sniffling sobs.
Pink.
He spoke, finally.
I will never do this to hurt you. You know that I love you.
Pink nodded into the fur of his chest and felt the stinging in his throat, and the tears continued.
I love you. So please just stay.
You know I can't. Pink, if I don't go, who is saying that the night won't come here? Come to this village. Come to you.
Randy shuddered at the thought, running a hand through Pink's hair. He couldn't go through that again, not after the war.
But if you were here, if you stayed, you could protect me. You could protect us.
He reached out to take one of Randy's hands, pressing his large palm over the ever-so-slight swell of his stomach.
Roseo, are you saying what I think you're saying?
The monster's piercing blue eyes glittered with tears, caressing the human's navel with the utmost care.
Yes, I'm pregnant, Randy. I need my mate here. I need my alpha to take care of me.
He whined, nuzzling his face into the junction of the other man's neck and shoulder. Oh, how Pink wished he could mark Randy here, truly make the monster his, just like he had claimed him.
Pink.
Randy looked so conflicted. His instincts told him he needed to stay, to hide away his human lover from this harsh and uncaring world, hide away his family. But his mind knew better.
I'm sorry, my love, but that's all the more reason to leave.
He gently caressed Pink's cheek, wiping away the tears slipping down his cheeks.
If we are to truly have a child, a baby, I need to make the world safe for them to enter. I need to make sure that there is no one that can tear us apart.
Randy, please. Randy, I need you. We need you. I can't be alone again. I can't be all alone in that house, just watching the window and waiting for you to come back.
Pink openly sobbed, crushing his face into Randy's sculpted pectorals.
What if you don't come back? How am I supposed to raise our baby all alone?
Randy's strong arms wrapped around Pink's smaller frame, his muscular arms the only place to ever make Pink feel as safe as he did now.
You won't have to do it alone, my sweet prince. I'll come home to you. I'll come home to our baby.
He told his mate, his precious human, as he sank down to his knees and pressed his muzzle to his rounded stomach. Their baby growing in there, what a miracle! Randy would make a perfect father. How could he not be? He was perfect, the perfect husband for Pink, the model citizen that kissed babies, a firefighter that saved kittens, a perfect cook who had somehow managed to make Orange learn something, and he had a perfect body. He was perfect, so everything he did was perfect and sexy. Pink knew it was selfish of him to insist his husband stay. Randy would be so good at defeating the night. He would probably speed up the war by several years, the might of 10 armies in a single man. If anyone could end it, it would be Randy Domega. But he was still just a monster. He could still die.
I'll be back before the baby is even born, Pink. I promise you. It will be us and our baby in a safe world when I come home.
He promised, pulling Pink back into his arms and leading him to bed. Pink woke up alone, the bed still warm next to him, and his body pleasantly sore from the previous night's activities. He reached blindly for Randy, frowning when his hand only met empty sheets.
Randy?
He called into the empty room as he sat up, bracing his hand on his stomach as he got out of bed. Part of him already knew what was going to happen. He knew that Randy had left while he was asleep. It was too late. Randy had left while he slept, walking to what could be his death, because he'd known that he wouldn't have been able to leave his pregnant mate alone if Pink was begging him not to go. That bastard! That perfect, selfless bastard! He would save the world. Pink knew he would. But what if his perfect mate didn't come back to him? Just then, Randy walked back in the door, carrying a tray of perfect cinnamon rolls, even though he couldn't source the spice for another couple 100 years.
War is over,
He announced, because he was that perfect and was able to end it before breakfast time so he could care for his mate and child. The end.